Reuters has revealed that Volkswagen has initiated legal action against India to invalidate a substantial $1.4 billion tax claim, as detailed in a legal document. Additionally, in 2023, China experienced. Reuters has revealed that Volkswagen has initiated legal action against India to invalidate a substantial $1.4 billion tax claim, as detailed in a legal document. Additionally, in 2023, China experienced a record surge in Atlantic salmon imports, reaching nearly 93,000 tons, which marks a 46% increase compared to the previous year. Furthermore, Beijing has responded to Trump's tariffs by launching an investigation into Google.
Super Bowl ads have been noted for foreshadowing the dot-com and crypto bubbles. This year, expect numerous ads promoting AI companies. OpenAI's latest trademark application suggests the development of humanoid robots, smart jewelry, and additional products. The EU has now prohibited AI systems that pose unacceptable risk. Earth's moon might have once possessed rings similar to those of Saturn, according to a recent study. China is planning its Chang'e 7 mission, which will deploy a flying robot to explore the moon's south pole in search of water. A Chinese spacecraft disintegrated over Los Angeles, and earthquake sensors tracked its trajectory through the atmosphere.
Mind blindness explained. Individuals unable to visualize with their mind's eye still engage their visual cortex, according to research. Researchers find cannabis in a completely different plant in Brazil. The grease in polar bears' hair provides their fur with anti-icing characteristics. Bonobos discern human ignorance and attempt to assist.
Texas Stock Exchange submits Form 1 registration to function as a national securities exchange. LVMH offloads its stake in Stella McCartney to the founder following a market downturn. Meta's investment in virtual reality and smart glasses is projected to exceed $100 billion. Human brain samples were found to have a spoonful of nanoplastics, according to a study. Astronomers are advocating for a worldwide prohibition on space advertising. Climate change is projected to reduce $1.47 trillion in U.S. home values over the next 30 years.
Jimmy Carter receives a Grammy posthumously for narrating an audiobook of his Sunday school lessons. During the Grammys 2025 ceremony, Beyoncé secures her inaugural Album of the Year award, while Kendrick Lamar achieves significant victories. Missouri's Chappell Roan is honored with a Grammy for Best New Artist and delivers a speech criticizing record labels. An AI-generated song earns the Beatles their first Grammy 55 years after their disbandment, winning the award for Best Rock Performance. Bitfarms, a Bitcoin miner on Wall Street, has engaged consultants to assess AI and HPC. Utah has decided to establish a state Bitcoin reserve program, following the passage of a bill permitting public funds to invest up to 5% in digital assets. 2 weeks prior, Massachusetts introduced strategic Bitcoin reserve legislation. Additionally, an Arizona Senate committee approved a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill with a 5-2 vote, which would permit a 10% investment of state funds in Bitcoin. El Salvador has taken Bitcoin out of legal tender status to comply with IMF loan requirements.
Electric cars captured 96% of Norway's market in January. By producing batteries in Morocco, Chinese EV manufacturers are overcoming Western tariffs. Trump indicates that he desires Ukraine's rare earth elements as a prerequisite for additional support.
Trump plans to cut U.S. funding to South Africa over land law. Musk has also criticized the country. South Africa denies confiscating land after Trump threatens to cut off aid. Taiwan says South Africa gives March deadline to move office from Pretoria. GOP pollster says Trump voters tired of being accused of racism.
A reboot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer featuring Sarah Michelle Gellar is being developed by an MCU director. Additionally, Netflix has commissioned a reboot of Little House on the Prairie, marking the first time in over 40 years since the original series aired. Meanwhile, U.S. streaming ad revenue is expected to near $17 billion, although competition is intensifying.
A new fabric has the ability to increase in temperature by over 50 degrees, providing warmth in extremely cold conditions. Sony Japan has made a commitment to ensuring a stable supply of optical discs following its decision to discontinue recordable Blu-rays. Kakao has revealed a collaboration with OpenAI to incorporate ChatGPT into its latest AI service. Trump decides to temporarily halt tariffs on Canada and Mexico following their commitment to enhance border security while maintaining tariffs on China. Trudeau reveals a 30-day tariff suspension after speaking with Trump. China imposes 15% tariffs on U.S. coal and LNG in response to Trump's tariffs, targeting U.S. coal, gas, and Google. Bloomberg indicates that car prices could rise by $3,000 as automakers express concern over tariffs. Trump suggests that EU tariffs will be implemented soon, though a solution for the UK is possible. The EU prepares for a trade war, promising firm retaliation against potential Trump tariffs. Financial Times reports as corporate America cozies up to Elon Musk as billionaire deepens ties to Donald Trump. Wall Street Journal reports as Trump hints at curbs on Musk's powers after billionaire shakes up Washington. The Atlantic comments as Elon Musk is president. Doge's access to federal data is an absolute nightmare, legal experts warn, and unions sue to block Musk team's access to Treasury payments. Reportedly, Elon Musk installs a legal server to seize all federal workers' data. Trump-appointed D.C. attorney offers to protect Musk's Doge staff, and Elon Musk is serving as a special government employee, White House says.
In the United States, Russian and Uzbek nationals have been charged with a conspiracy to file false voter registration applications, totaling 132 fraudulent submissions. A former British soldier who spied for Iran and successfully escaped from prison has been sentenced to 14 years. The United States plans to withdraw once more from the UN Human Rights Council and cease funding for UNRWA.
FBI agents investigating UFOs fear potential exclusion in a possible purge. Rubio declares himself acting director of USAID amid the humanitarian agency's integration into the State Department. RFK Jr. allegedly provided inaccurate information to the U.S. Senate regarding measles deaths, according to Samoa's health chief. Certain migrants detained during Trump's immigration enforcement have been set free within the United States. El Salvador proposes an extraordinary arrangement to accommodate violent individuals from the U.S. and deportees of any nationality. Mexican drug cartels are reportedly plotting assaults on Border Patrol agents using kamikaze drones and other explosive devices in response to the U.S. crackdown.
USPS will now accept all inbound packages from China and Hong Kong. Previously, the U.S. Postal Service had suspended these parcels. Additionally, China has placed Google, Nvidia, Intel, Calvin Klein parent PVH, and Illumina on its unreliable entity list. Bloomberg also mentions that China is considering an investigation into Apple's App Store fees and practices. Meanwhile, a Panama court is being urged to cancel a Hong Kong firm's canal contract due to a Trump threat. The Panama Canal Authority, however, denies any changes to fee charges following a U.S. claim. Recently, U.S. government vessels have been allowed to sail the Panama Canal without fees, according to the U.S.
In the United States, a lawsuit alleges that the University of California has discriminated against white and Asian individuals during Trump's DI crackdown. According to sources, the NFL plans to eliminate end racism messaging from the end zone before the Super Bowl. Additionally, Google has abandoned its diversity hiring objectives, citing Trump's DEI directives.
In the U.S., SEC plans to reduce its crypto enforcement activities. Taproot Wizards secures $30 million to enhance smart contracts on Bitcoin. White House crypto czar David Sacks emphasizes stablecoin legislation as the top priority, while Senator Bill Hagerty introduces the Genius Act to establish a stablecoin framework. Former Google engineer is charged in the U.S. with allegedly stealing AI secrets for Chinese firms. The EU establishes guidelines to prevent the misuse of AI by employers, websites, and law enforcement. Google retracts its commitment not to employ AI for weapons or surveillance. Apple introduces the Apple Invites app to facilitate party invitations, aiming to generate recurring revenue. Opera Air, a browser specifically crafted for stress management and enhancing focus, has been launched. An internal memo from Meta's CTO indicates that 2025 is a critical year for the company's XR ambitions. WHO indicates that the worldwide cancer burden is expanding, highlighting the increasing demand for services. Research suggests that COVID-19 is associated with a rise in biomarkers indicating abnormal brain proteins. Investigations connect marijuana use to enduring changes in the cortex and an increased risk of schizophrenia.
Volvo to deploy Wabi self-driving Gen AI to get more autonomous freight trucks on the road in 2025. Adobe claims that 69% admitted signing a contract without knowing all the details and announces Adobe AI Assistant for overview, summaries, and differences between versions. Google parent Alphabet plans to spend $75 billion this year as big tech goes all in on AI.
Carla Sofia Gascon reportedly removed from the Emilia Perez Oscars campaign due to the reemergence of concerning posts. President Biden has joined a Hollywood talent agency that also represents the Obamas. Bandai's live-action Gundam film is set to have a theatrical release.
Thailand has reduced electricity supply to regions along the Myanmar border where scam operations are prevalent, amid increasing pressure from China. China is implementing stricter regulations to oversee the distribution of microdramas. The Chinese box office achieved a record-breaking $1.3 billion during the Lunar New Year, with IMAX also reaching new milestones.
Bloomberg states that over 20,000 federal workers have accepted Musk's buyout. Sources indicate the CIA is offering buyouts to its entire workforce to match Trump's priorities. NASA workers were instructed to drop everything to remove mentions of indigenous people and women from its websites. It has been remarked as Musk demonstrating what real government censorship on social media entails. Zelensky urges Tucker Carlson to cease his admiration for Putin following Carlson's accusation of Zelensky as a dictator. Ukraine accepts Trump's proposal to exchange minerals for military aid. The EU and Moldova reach an agreement on an energy security plan to reduce Moldova's dependence on Russian energy.
U.S. Navy tests its powerful laser weapon capable of destroying warships and drones, with an astonishing photo capturing the moment. European Union permits the use of powdered insect larvae in bread and various other foods. Javier Milei commands Argentina's exit from the World Health Organization.
Treasury Department confirms Doge's payment data access is limited to read-only. DHS examines TSA's growing facial recognition program due to privacy issues. Trump administration working on an executive order to start the Department of Education's removal.
Trump advises Gazans to evacuate, stating the U.S. will assume control and reconstruct the area. He does not exclude the possibility of deploying U.S. troops to aid in rebuilding Gaza and envisions long-term U.S. ownership. Saudi Arabia quickly responds, asserting no diplomatic relations with Israel without the establishment of a Palestinian state. A pro-Trump Arab-American organization renames itself following the president's remarks about Gaza's Riviera. Iran commends the U.S. for reducing foreign aid funding, anticipating a Trump message on nuclear negotiations. Greenland's parliament endorses a prohibition on foreign political donations as Trump pursues the island. Mexico's foreign minister declares that the country will not permit the U.S. to deport Mexicans to Guantanamo.
A viral image of Mars' surface featuring a square structure has sparked conspiracy theories. Meanwhile, Musk is planning to send astronauts. Temperatures at the North Pole are 20 degrees Celsius above average.
Trump tariffs reportedly surprised consumers with shipping fees from China reaching up to $50. Snap claims that the uncertainty surrounding TikTok has positively impacted its business. Robinhood has stopped the introduction of Super Bowl betting contracts following a request from the CFTC.
Spain plans to reduce the working week to 37.5 hours. Recent research indicates that Gen Z digital natives are eager for in-person events to foster connections and progress in their careers. OpenAI collaborates with the California State University system to integrate AI with 500,000 students and faculty, aiming to enhance higher education in the U.S. through the ChatGPT rollout at California State University.
Kazakhstan has made a significant public health decision by banning the sale of energy drinks to minors. In the United States, senators are progressing a bill that would prohibit children under the age of 13 from using social media. Meanwhile, Novo Nordisk remains optimistic despite the potential threat of Trump tariffs, as their sales of the weight loss jab continue to rise. It was reported 6 months ago that the use of drugs for weight loss is increasing among teens, with girls being the most frequent users. 2 years ago, Reuters highlighted that the maker of Wegovy and Ozempic is investing heavily in U.S. obesity doctors.
Kaspersky has identified a new Trojan designed to steal cryptocurrency, which is available on both the App Store and Google Play. Meanwhile, Chainalysis has indicated a 35% decrease in ransomware payments year over year, with less than half of the recorded incidents resulting in victims making payments. Additionally, a 7-zip zero-day vulnerability was exploited during Russia's ongoing invasion of Ukraine. MicroStrategy has rebranded itself as Strategy, introducing a new logo and emphasizing its Bitcoin-centric identity. OpenAI has launched a new logo featuring an updated color scheme and typeface. Volkswagen is hinting at its upcoming €20,000 electric vehicle, with a show reveal scheduled for March 5th. Apple TV Plus introduces a new K-pop song competition series called K-Popped, featuring PSY and Megan Thee Stallion. Fox News brings on Lara Trump, the president's daughter-in-law, for a weekend program on the network. Warner Brothers is unexpectedly releasing lesser-known and delightful films on YouTube for free viewing. Germany's MERS cautions that the U.S. has transformed into no longer the America we used to know. According to Axios, Tesla experienced a decline in European sales in January following Musk's political disruptions there. Additionally, Axios notes that a PBS poll reveals significant support among Trump voters despite the GOP's efforts to defund PBS. Lastly, it is reported that in the U.S., Democrats are receiving numerous calls urging them to fight harder.
Wall Street Journal indicates that Trump is contemplating classifying migrants as potential risks for measles and tuberculosis. During Rubio's visit, Guatemala has consented to receive additional deportees, and the U.S. plans to confiscate Venezuelan president's plane located in the Dominican Republic. The Panama Canal Authority refutes allegations of altering fee structures following a U.S. assertion. The U.S. government claimed that its vessels can navigate the Panama Canal without incurring fees. Elon Musk allegedly faces a significant conflict of interest driving his efforts to dismantle USAID, as the agency invested $1 million in Musk's Starlink terminals over the past year. It has been noted that USAID, perceived as Musk's adversary, was examining Starlink's contracts in Ukraine. 3 days ago, it was reported that Musk claimed Donald Trump concurred with the need to shut down USAID. The White House stated that Musk will manage his own conflicts of interest. A House Democrat introduced a bill named after Musk, which aims to terminate federal contracts for special government employees.
Trump issues an executive order titled No Men in Women's Sports, stating that transgender athletes will be barred from the 2028 Olympic Games. The Milei government in Argentina plans to prohibit gender affirmation surgery and hormone treatment for individuals under the age of 18. In the United States, the women's soccer secures a $5 million settlement with the state regarding allegations of abuse.
AMD surpassed Intel, achieving a 13.5% increase in data center and AI revenue during the fourth quarter. Apple's M5 chip, designed with AI in mind, has begun mass production. Google adjusted its Super Bowl advertisement after it depicted its AI providing inaccurate information about Gouda cheese. Consuming 1 egg per week is associated with a 29% reduction in the risk of dying from heart disease. Researchers have achieved the goal of depriving cancer cells of nutrients by creating artificial fat cells that absorb the surrounding resources. A study proposes that an ancient section of the brain signals when to cease eating. Honda-Nissan merger faces major challenges as Nissan declines proposal. Toyota Motor experiences nearly 28% decline in third-quarter operating profit, falling short of expectations. Ford shares decline as company predicts slower growth and additional losses for electric vehicle division.
Justin Sun, who purchased Sotheby's $6 million banana, initiates legal action against mega collector David Geffen regarding a $78 million Giacometti sculpture. 4 years ago, Tron's founder, Justin Sun, had previously donated Giacometti's $78.4 million Lou Nez to the Apenft Foundation. Meanwhile, the British Council, amid a debt crisis, contemplates selling part of its art collection. Additionally, Knight Frank reports that Dubai's luxury residential market achieved a new milestone in 2024 with 435 home sales priced at $10 million or more.
In Google Ads update, landing pages that mislead users are now ranked lower. Mizuno USA acknowledges a data breach after a ransomware claim was made. Uganda arrests 9 finance officials in connection with a $16.87 million central bank hack. Bangladesh demonstrators set fire to the residence of the former Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina. Donald Trump Jr. is alleged to have discharged a firearm at a safeguarded rare duck in the Venice Lagoon. Nigel Farage dismisses a query regarding Donald Trump's strategy for Gaza, humorously mentioning casinos, nightlife very appealing to me. EA anticipates the next Battlefield installment will be available before April 2026. African gaming revenues have reached a new record of $1.8 billion. Marvel refutes claims of using AI for new Fantastic Four posters, which feature extra fingers and duplicate faces. Voldex has acquired a player base of 120 million from Brookhaven, positioning it as the largest developer in Roblox. Colombia's president claims that cocaine is no worse than whiskey and would be sold like wine if legalized globally. Despite ongoing discoveries of clandestine graves in Mexico, the government has ceased releasing statistics. 2 years ago, a nonprofit reported that Mexico was uncovering 1.8 clandestine graves each day. Tunisia has resumed its crackdown on political dissent, jailing opposition politicians and journalists. The opposition leader Ghannouchi received a new 22-year prison sentence. 4 months ago, Tunisia reportedly imprisoned presidential candidate Ayachi Zamel for 12 years. 8 months ago, leading opposition figure Musi was sentenced to jail. Apple is developing a tabletop robot with realistic movements, expected to launch by 2027. Civilization 7 has had a difficult beginning, earning mixed reviews on Steam from its premium supporters. This unfinished mess is nothing like the Civ 6 release. LeBron James has set a new record as the oldest player to score 40 points in NBA history, achieving 42 points in the Lakers' win.
Ireland and Spain should take Palestinians, Israeli minister says. In Israel, in meeting with Foreign Minister Sayar, top Italian diplomat says Rome will no longer work with UNRWA. Also, Tajani tells Sayar 2 states is solution for future. Netanyahu told U.S. officials war could end if Hamas leaders go into exile, claim sources.
Trump is considering allowing states to manage schools and is contemplating significant reductions to the U.S. Education Department. Elon Musk has remarked that the Department of Education is no longer relevant. Elon Musk's Doge is reportedly processing sensitive federal data into AI to identify areas for cuts, and Elon Musk's Doge is developing a personalized chatbot named GSAI. Chris Anderson is offering TED to anyone with the most innovative idea for its future.
Linus Bio introduces ClearStrand ASD, a revolutionary autism biomarker that allows healthcare providers to exclude autism with just 1 strand of hair. Meanwhile, the CDC briefly shares information on bird flu transmission between cats and humans before removing it. Additionally, the NCAA in the U.S. implements a new policy restricting transgender student athletes to competing in women's sports only if they were assigned female at birth.
Trump alleges that media outlets receive payments to produce favorable stories about Democrats, intensifying a conspiracy theory regarding Politico's compensation. Hungary's leader charges USAID with financing left-wing media across Europe. Remarks have noted that USAID allocated $44,000 to Politico, contrary to the White House's assertion of over $8 million. The payment was for subscriptions, and the White House plans to cancel $8 million in Politico subscriptions following the spread of a misleading right-wing conspiracy theory.
Bolivia and Argentina investigate an illegal hunting network responsible for the deaths of jaguars. Humpback whale songs exhibit patterns similar to those found in human language. Indonesia mandates the cessation of tourism projects associated with Trump due to environmental concerns. Putin's North Korean troops have reportedly been removed from the front line, according to Seoul's intelligence agency, while Zelensky claims they have returned. An Azerbaijan Airlines plane that crashed en route to Russia was reportedly found with numerous holes. As per a report, and Azerbaijan is intensifying a rare conflict with Russia regarding the passenger plane's downing. The Baltic countries have terminated their electricity connections to Russia via the Soviet-era grid and are strengthening their EU alliance.
Trump places sanctions on the ICC, claiming it focuses on the U.S. and Israel. Meanwhile, numerous countries oppose these sanctions by the Trump administration. Israel decides to cease interaction with the UN Human Rights Council, citing alleged bias. Additionally, a leaked document indicates that a large-scale immigration enforcement action is imminent in Los Angeles.
UK mandates Apple to permit
NASA will conduct its inaugural Twitch stream from the International Space Station. Blue Origin, owned by Bezos, replicates lunar gravity for NASA experiments during space travel. Investors are concerned about the financial health of Eutelsat and SES as the threat from Starlink approaches.
Google is experimenting with an AI mode in its search engine to provide answers to all your open-ended questions. Microsoft has launched an AI-driven scareware blocker for its Edge browser. Amazon has committed $26 billion per quarter to enhance its Gen AI capabilities and undergo a retail transformation.
The Prince Netflix documentary, which has stirred controversy, will not be released. The estate now has the freedom to develop a new project. Carla Sofia Gaskin expresses her hope that her silence will contribute to Emilia Perez being appreciated for what it is in a new apology following a director's description of her as self-destructive. Christie's has withdrawn an El Greco masterpiece due to an ownership dispute with Romania.
J.D. Vance is selected to manage the possible TikTok sale with an April 5th deadline approaching. Trump announces that reciprocal tariffs will be declared for every nation next week, and he halts the de minimis repeal as packages accumulate at U.S. Customs. Trudeau informs an audience that Trump's threat to annex Canada is real and driven by the desire to access essential minerals.
emissions from powering AI data centers are expected and $20 billion in health expenses by 2030. According to DeepSeek research, Huawei's Ascend 910C achieves 60% of the inference performance of NVIDIA's H100. DeepMind asserts that its AI surpasses the abilities of
New Jeans, a K-pop group, has rebranded as NJZ and revealed performance dates for March while dealing with a contract dispute. Christie's is organizing an auction featuring only AI-generated art. A court has ruled that liking a post containing a porn deepfake can result in liability, as seen in the Megan Thee Stallion lawsuit. Elon Musk's X is under criminal investigation in France due to concerns about algorithm manipulation. German non-profit organizations have succeeded in a lawsuit for access to public data against Elon Musk's X has acquired a new ad tech partner in an effort to attract additional advertisers.
France and the UAE have signed a significant agreement for an AI data center, potentially valued at up to $50 billion. DeepSeek's AI model, described as efficient, is influencing the energy market, leading to discussions about demand. Meanwhile, Chevron is considering gas-powered plants for data centers. Additionally, AI chip company Cerebras has collaborated with France's Mistral, asserting a speed record.
Bloomberg notes that Wall Street is experiencing a more concealed era of stock trading. Trump aims to close a contentious tax loophole that has significantly increased the wealth of Wall Street's elite for many years, and investment groups are against Trump's proposal to raise the carried interest tax, as Trump plans to terminate carried interest and broaden SALT in his tax legislation. Trump confirms the United States' withdrawal from the International Tax Agreement.
Netflix is contemplating a bid for the Formula One television rights. Spotify and Warner Music have entered into a new multi-year agreement. Warner Music has acquired songs by Bruno Mars and Adele in a $450 million transaction.
Honeywell, HON, divides into three due to financial worries. Nikola, a producer of hydrogen trucks, approaches bankruptcy documentation. Trump predicts Nippon will withdraw $15 billion offer for U.S. steel, yet significantly engage in it.
Gemini is considering an IPO as cryptocurrency companies advance their listing plans. The Melania memecoin has plummeted by 90% from its highest point as its novelty appeal diminishes. It is said that USDC has completely recovered from the FTX market crash. Fintech company Klarna is aiming for a US IPO in April.
Trump plans to establish a religious office in the White House to address anti-Christian bias. The Trump administration is taking steps to halt the national rollout of electric vehicle chargers. Trump announces his intention to undo Biden's initiative aimed at eliminating plastic straws. UNESCO finishes restoring Mosul heritage sites harmed by ISIS. A 300-year-old Stradivarius violin fetches $11 million at a New York auction. The Metropolitan Museum of Art hosts its first major retrospective in the U.S. focused on Caspar David Friedrich. A Doge staffer resigns over racist posts. Elon Musk demands firing of disgusting and cruel Wall Street Journal reporter who uncovered Doge employees' racist tweets. Vance and Trump call for rehiring of Doge staffer who quit over racist posts. Musk obliges.
In the United States, the Treasury is focusing on an oil network that is providing hundreds of millions of dollars to Iran's military. The Trump administration has dissolved a task force aimed at Russian oligarchs. Reuters notes that while Trump's minimal cancellation is concerning for Temu, it poses an even greater threat to Shine. Ad buyers criticize Google, Amazon, and others for ads appearing on a site with child abuse content. Hearst Magazines introduces Aura, a first-party AI ad targeting tool, to global markets. The Science Museum in the UK claims Lego is anti-LGBT and only supports two genders. Meta partners with UNESCO to develop a groundbreaking AI program for speech and translation.
Microsoft reports that cybercriminals exploit unprotected ASP.NET keys to distribute malware. Spanish law enforcement apprehends a hacker suspected of targeting NATO and the U.S. Army. India's Reserve Bank of India unveils a unique bank.in domain to address digital banking fraud. Kipu, which is 13,000 times the length of the Milky Way. UK and US do not sign a declaration on ensuring AI is safe for all at the Paris summit. Vance warns Europeans that excessive regulation might stifle AI development. France unveils a $112 billion AI investment to compete with the US's Stargate project, while the EU commits $200 billion in AI spending to try to match the progress of the US and China. Wall Street Journal reports that an Elon Musk-led group offers $97.4 billion for control of OpenAI, but Sam Altman declines the offer, stating that the OpenAI board will reject Elon Musk's $97 billion proposal. Conservative political leadership linked to increased premature mortality rates. A study indicates Donald Trump exhibits higher levels of dark tetrad traits compared to Joe Biden. The Pope warns that Trump's mass deportation of migrants will end badly, as it is built on the basis of force, and not on the truth about the equal dignity of every human being.
German customers of Seagate claim their new hard drives were previously used, with reports suggesting these HDDs had been in operation for tens of thousands of hours. Meta torrented over 81 terabytes of data through Anna's archive, despite few seeders. Nokia secures its first ever patent injunction across Germany against the Amazon Prime Video streaming service, following 3 victories over Amazon devices. Meta's Brain 2 QWERTY AI model converts brain signals into text as a non-invasive alternative to Musk's Neuralink. The FDA and EU approve Nuance Audio, smart glasses integrated with hearing aids, for commercial sale. Huawei increases smartwatch sales by registering them as medical devices.
AI usage costs decrease tenfold annually, according to OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. Additionally, Altman suggests that combining LLM scaling and reasoning could lead to new scientific knowledge. Anthropic's economic index indicates that AI is more commonly used for augmentation than automation. Allstate reports that nearly all its communications regarding insurance claims are now handled by AI, which is reportedly more empathetic than its human insurance representatives.
Ancient Europeans ate the brains of their dead enemies 18,000 years ago. Researchers discover Spanish running of the Bulls Festival reveals crowd movements can be predictable above a certain density. Study finds medieval Dutch site may have hosted devil's money cult rituals.
Passmark records its first annual decline.
A telecom's cable in Russia's Baltic Sea has been damaged due to external impact, according to TASS. Zelensky has suggested trading land with Putin, including the return of Kursk. The Kremlin recently stated that a significant part of Ukraine wants to be Russia. 2 days prior, Trump remarked that Ukraine may be Russian someday, before Zelensky's meeting with Vance. Russia has extended an offer to India for its most advanced Su-57 stealth fighter jet, with UAC officially confirming the co-production offer to India. Greenland's ice sheet might completely melt once it hits a certain tipping point, according to a study. Scientists have just mapped ice-free areas in Antarctica for the first time. It has been discovered that Earth's inner core is not as solid as once believed. Poachers' social media activity exposes the significant scale of illegal wildlife hunting in Lebanon. The Argentina River becomes a stream of blood. Following a suspected toxic leak, alpha male baboons experience accelerated aging, increased mortality, and heightened stress due to love-related issues.
Trump discontinues legal action against Twitter ban following January 6th incident. Wall Street Journal notes, UK allows Apple to facilitate data access for China. 4 days prior, Apple compelled by UK to create backdoor for user data. Black History and Pride Month removed from Google Calendar.
A recent study suggests that fiber might safeguard your gut against an excessive increase in harmful bacteria. Research indicates that antibiotics, vaccinations, and anti-inflammatory drugs are associated with a decreased likelihood of developing dementia. The study attributes the rising incidence of lung cancer in non-smokers to air pollution in China.
Thomson Reuters secures a preliminary victory in a court case concerning AI, copyright, and fair use. Individuals are gradually developing more confidence in AI and perceiving it as increasingly similar to humans. According to Wall Street Journal, DeepSeek provides information on bioweapons and self-harm.
Russia introduces a prototype of a plasma rocket engine. General Atomics achieves successful testing of nuclear thermal propulsion reactor fuel at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. Anduril assumes control of Microsoft's $22 billion U.S. Army headset program.
Neuro-ophthalmologists are worried about eye issues in patients taking GLP-1 anti-diabetic drugs. A study indicates that multiple psychiatric disorders have a common origin. Researchers report that older individuals in England are experiencing greater happiness and satisfaction post-COVID.
MIT's robot bees achieve unprecedented pollination milestones, including a 1,000-second hover and various acrobatic maneuvers. Volabat creates a prototype wooden jacket by transforming trees into garments with intricate grids of timber. Stellantis unveils pop-up advertisements in its vehicles, leading to widespread discontent among car owners.
Trump relaxes the enforcement of the U.S. law that prohibits the bribery of foreign officials and stops the prosecution of companies accused of such bribery overseas. The PGA Tour acknowledges Trump's role in advancing the LIV golf deal during his significant sports week. Axios indicates that Disney is revising its DEI initiatives.
Thunderbolts emerge as Marvel's latest heroes in a Super Bowl trailer. The Oscars are contemplating a mandate for films to reveal AI usage following controversies with The Brutalist and Emilia Perez. Naja 2 breaks box office records, becoming the first non-Hollywood film to surpass $1 billion.
BYD introduces free self-driving capabilities to 21 of its electric vehicle models, intensifying competition in China's automotive industry. Shine requests certain Chinese suppliers to expand their operations to Vietnam. Apple collaborates with Alibaba to create AI features for iPhone users in China.
Lee Enterprises, a major media company in the U.S., acknowledges a cyber attack, leading to continued disruptions at its news outlets. The U.S., UK, and Australia are focusing on Russia-based servers due to Lockbit ransomware attacks. With the U.S. imposing sanctions on Lockbit's resilient hosting provider, international law enforcement has apprehended key individuals involved in Phobos and 8-based ransomware as part of a global cybercrime operation. Trump indicates he might stop aid to Jordan and Egypt unless they accept Palestinians. Jordan agrees to care for ill children from Gaza amid Trump's proposed takeover strategy. Palestinian forces are visibly assisting Israel in its conflict in the West Bank.
Lyft plans to introduce Mobileye robot access in Dallas starting in 2026. China's technology stocks are experiencing a bull market following a significant breakthrough by DeepSeek. T-Mobile will implement a $15 monthly fee for the Starlink satellite texting feature.
In the United States, federal authorities have filed charges against 9 individuals suspected of being involved in a robbery ring that successfully stole 2 artworks by Jackson Pollock and Andy Warhol, each valued at millions of dollars. The inaugural official African government meme coin, $CR, has achieved a trading volume of $830 million, marking it as one of the top meme coins to purchase during the current African crypto bull run. Take-Two accidentally disclosed that PS5 sales have surpassed those of the Xbox Series X/S by more than double.
Kris Jenner puts famous family house from Keeping Up with the Kardashians on the market for $13.5 million. Ye's website is temporarily unavailable following the sale of swastika shirts, as the e-commerce platform states the site breached its terms. In 2024, female protagonists have achieved equal representation with male protagonists in the highest-grossing films.
BuzzFeed is launching a new social platform to compete with Instagram, TikTok, and X, aiming to spread joy. Meta and Child Help have introduced a curriculum to assist students in avoiding online exploitation. Tumblr will become part of the Fediverse once its WordPress migration is finished. Google AI chief dismisses DeepSeek's cost allegations as overblown. According to Reuters, OpenAI is preparing to complete its initial custom chip design this year. The Wall Street Journal notes that China's approach in the trade war involves intimidating U.S. tech firms. Bloomberg highlights that Taiwan's exports to Mexico have surged by nearly 500% prior to the imposition of U.S. tariffs. It is reported that chipmaker SMIC experienced a 45% decline in profits in 2024 due to ongoing U.S.-China trade tensions.
Zelensky says Europe's ability to ensure Ukraine's security is contingent upon America's involvement. North Korea labels Trump's proposal to take over Gaza as absurd. A Danish petition advocating for the purchase of California garners 200,000 signatures. Sea turtles use magnetic map and compass to navigate the ocean, as sea turtles dance when their superpower leads them to food. In the U.S., $10 million was spent on transgender animal testing, Watchdog Group says, as Congresswoman Mace opens hearing on oversight of taxpayer-funded animal cruelty. U.S. wildfire suppressants rife with toxic heavy metals, study finds.
Jeffrey Epstein Task Force formed as FBI announces discovery of 2,400 new JFK assassination files. United States plans to release Russian cyber money launderer in return for Mark Fogel. In the United Kingdom, MI5 allegedly misled courts to safeguard a violent neo-Nazi spy, and the MI5 chief reportedly contacted the BBC boss to suppress the story about the violent neo-Nazi spy. Tesla has initiated legal actions against customers and journalists in China, achieving success in most cases, according to a review. It is reportedly using its close ties with the Chinese Communist Party to penalize drivers who report issues with their brakes suddenly failing. Bloomberg indicates that Temu and Shein are experiencing a decline in U.S. sales following Trump's focus on China trade. Reuters suggests that Shein is planning to reduce its valuation to $50 billion in a London IPO, as its IPO plans are affected by Trump's crackdown on low-cost parcels. Apple and Google have reinstated the TikTok app after receiving assurances from Trump.
Manhattan U.S. attorney and leading DOJ official step down following directive to dismiss Eric Adams' case. Kamala Harris emerges as the Democratic frontrunner for California governor in 2026. According to a poll, researchers report a 50% rise in hate speech on X since Elon Musk took over. Wall Street Journal indicates that, according to U.S. intelligence, Israel perceives an opportunity for strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. State media in Iran reports that 2 British nationals are detained on security charges. Iran's Khamenei emphasizes the necessity to enhance Iran's military capabilities following threats from Trump.
German Navy chief reveals warship sabotage amid rising Russian threat to NATO. Study indicates Russian defense spending surpasses total European expenditure. Ukraine captures high-ranking intelligence officer, alleging collaboration with Russia. A concealed Picasso artwork from the initial Blue period has been uncovered using advanced technology. In May 2024, a massive solar storm generated 2 new radiation belts encircling Earth. Research conducted in India indicates that children employ distinct math abilities in their professional endeavors compared to their academic pursuits.
Trump declares that Palestinians will not be allowed to return to Gaza under his proposal. The Palestinian Authority terminates martyr payments, potentially signaling an approach towards Trump, as the Palestinian president abolishes the prisoner payment system condemned by the U.S. The Trump administration approves the reform of Palestinian prisoner payments, which have been labeled pay for slay.
In the UK, the government announced that construction on up to 12 new towns in England will commence by the next election. Starmer is set to reveal a plan for these new towns, which draws inspiration from King Charles. A report indicates that Italy, Greece, and Spain are among the top 10 countries most impacted by extreme weather. It is reportedly that the German far right is seeking to ally with Orbán to internally dismantle the EU.
ARM plans to release its own chip this year, with Meta as a client. A study claims that China's supercomputer chips have become 10 times more powerful than NVIDIA's. Reuters indicates that buyout firms are competing for the cybersecurity company Trend Micro, according to sources. Acetaminophen use during pregnancy may increase children's risk of autism, ADHD, and intellectual disability. Research supports the health benefits of cycling, especially in lowering sickness absences. A study associates birth control rings and patches with an elevated risk of clots and strokes.
German regulator accuses Apple of misusing power regarding its app tracking tool. OpenAI removes its diversity commitment webpage from its website. The upcoming Harry Potter HBO series is considering John Lithgow for the role of Dumbledore.
OpenAI delays its O3 AI model to focus on a unified next-generation release, with Sam Altman outlining the strategy for OpenAI's GPT-5. ChatGPT's energy use is disclosed. Just 0.3 watts per response, much less than previously speculated. Elon Musk announces he will retract his bid to buy OpenAI if the board halts the shift to a for-profit business.
The official Doge website has been updated, with a promise of savings updates by Valentine's Day. 14 states have filed a lawsuit against Doge, criticizing Elon Musk's unprecedented power as unconstitutional. It has been noted that anyone can push updates to the Doge.gov website, as cutbacks lead to hackers interacting with Musk's Doge site. In the U.S., HHS, the Department of Health and Human Services, has allocated over $22 billion in grants for migrants, which includes funds for cars, home loans, and startups. The U.S. State Department has removed Tesla from a $400 million armored electric vehicle plan due to concerns about conflicts. Trump declares tariffs on the EU in response to VAT, while signing a plan for reciprocal tariffs on U.S. trading partners, leading to economic uncertainty. Trump indicates that Modi will initiate trade discussions following the U.S.'s tariff announcement. Taiwan commits to enhancing communication and investment in the U.S. after Trump's tariff threats. Porsche is reducing approximately 2,000 positions in Germany as the challenges with its EV intensify. U.S. Coast Guard shares a recording that seems to capture the sound of the Titanic submersible implosion. In 2024, all 32 swimmers who underwent the most drug tests worldwide were Chinese. According to the data, Trump Jr. supports enhanced games, a new event that could challenge the Olympics by permitting certain steroids in sports. European Parliament advises legislators to exclusively use encrypted messages following cyber attacks by China. In the United States, the Salt typhoon breach affects telecom providers Cisco devices. Microsoft reveals that a sandworm subgroup has executed global cyber attacks across more than 15 countries.
Baidu, a Chinese company, plans to release its newest Ernie AI model as open source due to intensifying competition. Meanwhile, AI licensing agreements with Google and OpenAI contribute to 10% of Reddit's income. The UK has removed safety from its AI organization, now named the AI Security Institute, and has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Anthropic. Additionally, Publishers such as Condé Nast and McClatchy have accused the AI company Cohere of copyright infringements.
Chain analysis indicates that pig butchering scams have surged by nearly 40% in 2024 compared to the previous year, as the fraud sector adopts AI and enhances its sophistication. Core DDoS radar shows a 56% rise in DDoS attacks over the same period. According to Google's threat intelligence team, cybercrime poses a significant threat to national security, with U.S. adversaries increasingly seeking assistance from cybercriminals and their malware.
Malaysia collaborates with Google to introduce AI to 445,000 civil servants. In the U.S., following the Copilot trial, government employees found Microsoft's AI less beneficial than anticipated.